Samdach Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Cambodia Economic Growth Policy Dialogue. Today I have the pleasure to have two old friends. One is a younger brother, Leng. Leng Kang is CEO and chairman of ISI Group, which I think many of you may not know ISI, but you for sure know the brown coffee and eatery. So, but Leng is the chair of the whole group there. So we will have a good discussion on the perspective on manufacturing, and we have a good policy think tanker. Sophal, Dr. Sophal, who's the director of Center for Policy Study here. So again, the topic today will be more on manufacturing and agro-industry resilience. How do Cambodia build its capacity, its productive capacity, so that we can, in this case, produce more ourselves in the context of the border crisis with Thailand, in the context of the reciprocal tariff with the U.S. So I believe it's time now that Cambodia, after more than 30 years after the peace process, that we should start investing into manufacturing, into processing our own natural resource so that we can be more resilient. So maybe I would start perhaps with Leng first. You have several industrial zones in Phnom Penh, in Sihanoukville, so you have quite a broad perspective on the in this case the manufacturing facility, because your family has been doing that for over 20 some years, right? So in the context of the U.S. The reciprocal tariff that we're so blessed that we have 19%. So what is your perspective on that?
Before I go into answering your question, probably I reintroduce myself a
Yes,
little bit.
please.
Because ISI Group is more than just F&B. I think we have our root in manufacturing. So we started from a very small family-run roll forming of a roofing sheet. And slowly we grow and deepen the industry from roll forming of roofing sheet to galvanized pipe making, to pre-engineered steel building, to engineering constructions, and property development. And what you have said also, a major part of our business is industrial park development. Yes. So we are right in I think a very good opportunity of a century where there is a big supply chain movement from China and the region. And I think Cambodia stands to benefit a lot from this supply chain movement. I think before the introductions of reciprocal tariff by the U.S., I think we see huge FDI movement out of China and other regions into Cambodia, and I think we benefit a lot. But I think since the introduction of a tariff in April, there was some holding back of decisions for several months during this negotiation period. But yes, thanks God, we are now at 19%, which equalize with other countries in the region. And I think with the continued effort of the government to make the business environment more investment friendly, I'm confident that there will be more of such FDI coming in to invest in Cambodia.
Paul, what's your perspective?
I think Cambodia still has many opportunities for investors to make use of our natural resources or raw agricultural produce and also labor in the rural areas. We have seen the concentration of factories in urban areas, but a few already have spread to rural areas. So in the coming years, I think investor and government can work together to build infrastructure for better connectivity to rural areas. So our labor doesn't have to move to urban areas and have to spend money on housing, also travel back and forth. This should have benefited from government intervention in creating special economic zones by providing land at least, I think, and building roads and clean water infrastructure, electricity. With this help, I think the private sector would find it more easier or conducive to put their factories. And also in terms of transport, it may be sensitive, the cost of transport, but we have been developing more and more highways or also ports. On Monday, we heard from the president of the Sihanoukville port that in a few years to come, there will be deeper and deeper channels for bigger ships to come in, and that will result in less transport cost. So all these together, I think investors should find Cambodia more favorable.
I do agree with the point that you made in the beginning that we should have more industrial zone, industrial park in different provinces so that we can minimize the rural-urban migration. Yes. Because as it is, they come to the city, to Phnom Penh, it's congested, right? Yes. And I believe that how you equalize is that you push this industry to the province, and I can see already, like if you go to Kapong Cham along Highway 6, plenty of them. Of course, the concentration is Kapong Svu, but we start to see also the growth in Sihanoukville. One of your latest industrial zone is in Sihanoukville, right?
Yes, correct. I think Sophal has made the right point. I think as a result of this more than 20 years of the industrial development, I think industries are going to where the peoples are or going to the place that is beneficial to their particular need, because in the past we are very concentrated in the labor intensive industry like garment, textile, handbag and so on. But I think as a result of the IDP of
the
industrial development policy 2015-2025, I think we see diversification of our industrial base from labor intensive to other industry. Say for example, the latest tenants that we got in our special economic zone in Sihanoukville, they are in car tire manufacturing. So labor is not the most, not the top criteria for them to select the site, because they deal with a lot of volume. So closer to port is their number one priority. Closer to power is because they consume a lot of power. And therefore, after having looked at evaluated different sites, I think they finally set their foot in our special economic zone for that particular reason, power, transport. And I think for those industries that need laborers, I think instead of setting their manufacturing base in Phnom Penh or the surrounding, they go right to the source. Say, for example, in Takao, in Kampong Cham, where there are a lot of people. So from the clients that we have been building a factory for, due to our business in that construction area, we see this trend. So it start to branch out to different provinces instead of just in Phnom Penh, and I think it's a good sign. It brings economic activities to other provinces, the region of Cambodia.
Well, I think for you, it's more the manufacturing itself, right? And I'll talk to, I will refer to Sophal later on, more on the agro-industry perspective. But for now, I want to focus on the value addition. And you raise a good point that in this case, the Thai manufacturing, it's for export, right?
Correct.
And the good thing is that they look at a lot of market in the region also. ASEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is a good point that it enable market access to products that are manufactured in Cambodia, right? And under ASEP, the rule origin is only 40%. So, but a tide, I think rubber is probably 90% there. So it's very easy to, to attract investment there. But what other so-called value add manufacturing?
I think we begin to see industries that coming in, they are not like the past. They don't just come alone. I have two cases in our industrial park and SEZ. One is the car tire that we just talked about just now. So they take up a big portion of industrial park, of our special economic zone, and they will invite their suppliers, their component suppliers in as well. As a clusters, which is a conscious effort by our government, especially MEF and CDC, to encourage such clusters to come in, because this will add a lot of value to their product. It's not just a simple process. So in our case, they invite a zinc oxide supplier to set up, and they continue to bring more. So in a long term, this also gives them advantages because they have all their production input in one place. It will cut down logistic costs, will cut down the ordering, delivery time, and so on and so forth, resulting in more competitive costing in the long term. And the second case that I see is to do with furniture, in particular for our case, because we rooted in steel, and this company is quite a big company. It's a subsidiary of Hyundai Group. So they are coming here, I think, after evaluating our neighbors also, but they finally set foot in our zone early this year. So they're going to set up a factory, quite big. I think they are going to invest probably in 20-30 million sort of investment to do bed framing to sell to the US. So as part of that clusters strategies, they also bring their component suppliers together, and they also engage us to produce a pipe, steel pipe for them to use as a component of their bed framing. So,
but bed is linked to mattress, right? And here, mattress is made from rubber. So I mean, Sophal, from your economist perspective, Cambodia have like over 500,000 hectares of rubber that are producing latex now. What is your perspective there?
Yes, there's a good opportunity for investors to make use of our rubber that is fresh, that can be turned into latex. That Oknha Heng Long already tried, and he said it's good. But currently, most of our rubber produced is exported raw to Vietnam for processing. So rubber, I think, is a good case to provide more opportunities for agro processing, but also these 500,000 hectares will mature also, or some are maturing already, and the trees are good for furniture production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a raw material. So again, at the moment, it's a lot of trees are exported.
So you mean these rubber trees, when they mature, you have to cut them?
Yes. Normally, the productive years is about 20-25 years.
Okay.
After that, you sell the trees. At the moment, like 1 hectare, farmers can sell for about $10,000.
Really? Wow.
Because it's valuable.
Then you
and about 500 trees per hectare.
You replant it?
Yes, and then they replant it if they want to grow the same crop.
Probably I want to add on to the fact that we have this raw material. I think these investors do come here also evaluate all this also, because this is the ecosystem of that industry. So the reason they choose Cambodia is also because we have rubber. We have, like you said, more than 500,000 hectares. And in fact, after they decided, they have already started to go another step upstream. So they visited our other provinces to look for source of the rubber. Not just the source, but they're also thinking of setting up a rubber processing plant to supply them into their production.
The tires factory.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the furniture, the bedding company, I think they have their mattress currently made in Indonesia.
Okay.
So they will ship the frame in the future from Cambodia and the mattress from Indonesia. And the fact that we have this raw material is also an attractive factors that entice them to come here. And I'm sure probably they didn't say it, but probably at the back of their business plan, this is their natural
progression.
next step.
Yeah,
Yes, correct.
No, this is good. I can see that let's face it, when we have the peace process in '93, right, the focus of the government is not on all this value addition. And you did a lot of policy research in those days. The focus is on poverty, the focus on make sure we have enough electricity, that there's no pothole in the road. But now we are stable. So we start to look at how can we value add our commodity, the so-called commodity. Now you go up one more notch, right? And in this case, for example, rubber is a good example that all this year is the private sector were left alone. You do whatever you can because you got a private sector. We have the government have other preoccupation to worry about. But that's why it explained the flow of latex to Vietnam. And then it flow back after they process a bit to the Thai manufacturing here. Now, and I'm glad to know that you're saying that they start to value add it here and then to feed that into our manufacturing plant, yeah. So that's a good example, yeah.
I think it's a good progress, and I think it's good to see this diversification away from labor-intensive, low-value-adding industry. But having said that, I think our perception of the low-value-adding industry may not be right also, because from my interaction with our tenant and our client in various parts of the country, I think the traditional garment manufacturing in our mind has transformed. I think it's beyond my probably my wildest imagination. It's a bit exaggerated, but
we don't make T-shirt anymore.
It is no longer like a sweatshop anymore.
Yeah.
You see 20, 30 years ago, I think when you walk into this big garment factory, say for example one of our tenant in National Road 2, it looked like an electronic manufacturing facility. It's clean, it's cool, a lot of automation from cutting to sorting to storing. All these are pretty much automated where possible, except the sewing part. But the sewing part now, I think there's also some development in the area to probably replace some of the simple sewing. So I think we should not just say we migrate to electronic industry or other high value adding, but at the same time we should also try to shore up this garment industry, textile industry, if another way to put it, by I think bringing in this more highly mechanized or automated production facility, and at the same time going upstream. Say for example, instead of importing fabric, we should be working hand in hand, private and government and investors, to create an environment and incentive whereby they set up the fabric manufacturing, or even further upstream to weaving, for example. And I think this is particularly important in light of the current transshipment clause that is in our reciprocal tariff, whereby if it cannot satisfy local content of a certain percentage, I can't remember, probably be somewhere 35, 40, if we need that local manufactured component. So I would encourage the government to really look into this, because this is one of the biggest industry that employ directly or indirectly, I think probably more than 1 million of our Cambodian. And in light of this returnee from Thailand, which is also close to 1 million people that come back, I think we should not just abandon or leave this labor-intensive industry. We should strengthen it.
Well, I think you rightly said that we have moved up the value. It's the same industry, but you move up the value, because I recall 20-some years ago, we make a lot of T-shirts. But now you go to a factory, they make suit like we're wearing now. It's very sophisticated machinery, high-tech. I visit several factories there. We even have some who made textile, right? But the point you raise out on textile is very important, because from 2029, when we graduate from the LDC status, we will have no more trade preference. So it means that in the textile industry, you have to look at the double transformation, meaning that you cannot just import the fabrics and cut and trim, right? And so you have to make the fabric. So this is something that we have to start thinking now, because fabric making, printing fabrics, it's very polluting. So we need to put into a central location where you can control the pollution aspect of it. Yeah. But clearly, I agree with you. It's an industry that have a strong foothold already, particularly in the light of the return of the migrant worker from Thailand, from the border clashes. I would say it's a crisis opportunity. You know, they're coming back. Oh my God! I mean, what we're going to do with them? But no. Cambodia is only 16 million people, and our workforce is only 6 million. So these are good, migrant workers returning home. But the point is that if we can get them retrained and upskill a bit, they can enter the workplace. Yeah. Paul?
Yes, I think if we think about the returnees from Thailand, nearly 1 million workers, is quite a lot if we think in terms of percentage. So roughly speaking, their income, 1 million, suppose 1 million times 3,000 a year, that would be $3 billion a year. So we can expand our GDP also, because the GDP growth is the count of more production within the country. But we have to create jobs for them. Many migrant workers in Thailand work in the agriculture sector as well, and agro-processing, livestock, chicken raising, for example, fishing.
Fruit picking.
Yeah, fruit picking, weeding, all of these. Cambodia has a lot too. Like in the rubber, we talk about some farm owners told me they're still looking for labor to harvest the resin. Now, if there's enough information, coordination for them to work in the agriculture sector and also agro-processing, it would be good. And for processing, I think some of the factories would find it more favorable to be close to the farms, right? Because moving the low-cost produce can be too expensive, such as timber, rubber, and cassava or cashew also, but because they're quite low cost. So government should really be proactive in this. If left to the private sector, they normally would go and find somewhere that they can build a factory. And when they ask about the land price, people tend to ask for a lot, because this unused land, but if you want to rent or to buy, they ask for a big price. And if they compare to other countries, like in Vietnam, where the government tends to provide land already designated for factories.
Well, I think on this one, the Prime Minister has a good, I would say, plan to start with the Kapong Thom, for example, for cashew processing, where the government will allocate a big percentage of hectare and then make this as a special cashew processing zone there. And this is something that would respond
So
to.
that will showcase.
Yes.
If it's successful, I think government should do more in
Yeah.
other provinces.
Yeah.
Really identify key priorities for the value chains. Just pick up a few value chains and work on it in a partnership with the private sector. For food products, maybe we should also engage global buyers, traders, because they have the access to the market. They know the standards, the safety issues, etc. And we engage them in a partnership with also producers. I think a lot who put in factories, they are for long term, right? They don't want to move factory in the next 1 year, 2 years. They think about 20 years at least. And in that case, they need consistent supply of raw produce. In the case of cashews, cassava, or even rubber. So they should have partnership with the producers as well. There's a framework called PPP, 4P, public, private, and producer partnership. 4P, it's been tried. So like the three parties actually should be in the same boat, and they have a win-win relationship. In this, I think it's not done enough in Cambodia. We have seen examples like Amrut Rice has been doing that in organic rice, and they have been exporting organic rice to Europe. They have farmers in cooperatives that have contract farming with the company, so they have consistent, reliable supply. The demand for quality and safety also has been passed from the consumers to buyers to processors and to the farmers through this network.
Yeah, I think it's quite clear that the potential in the agro-industry is quite clear. I would say from the context now of the current context of the border crisis we have with Thailand, many of them are returning. And of course, when they return, they would return to their hometown, their home village. And the government have a very strong program to reskill, to upskill them so that the industry can absorb. But not just the industry, but the agriculture sector by itself to absorb them, right? Yeah, so do you have any ideas on how, particularly from the industry perspective, because you're more industrial, right? What sort of industry that, for example, your group, for example, can provide the infrastructure, the system to rebuild that the sector?
I think in the current context where such a huge number of workers return from Thailand at a very short period, I think it can be both a threat and opportunity, but as an entrepreneur myself, I think I see more of an opportunity. I think in the past, before the border conflict, I think in the industry as a whole, I think there has been some complaint or from investors regarding the difficulty of getting enough workers. So I think I see this as an opportunity, but when they return, probably they don't, the matching of supply and demand is something that our government really need to help, because as a private sector, probably it's beyond our ability to do that. So if the government can help match the supply and demand, that would be really great. And I think as a park developer, as a SEZ developer, for example, I think we can also play a part, because like I mentioned earlier, factories don't just go to where people are, because they have other consideration to make. For example, in Sihanoukville, it's closer to port. Power is abundant due to our national grid is quite close to all those areas. But then workers are not so much. So if we were to attract more workers, I think as a zone developer, we can come up with initiative like building more worker accommodation under lease to own model, or lease only for them to lease from the park developer. So in doing so, we will be able to attract, because we have experience with our previous industrial park, whereby we provide such a facility, it's easy to attract workers. And I think on top of the accommodation aspect, I think we, as park developer, we need to provide other daily necessities, say for example, markets where they can shop for their daily need. I'm not talking about luxury supermarket or mall,
basic
but
necessity.
the basic necessity that feed the need of our workers and probably some expats that the investor brought along. And I think for us ourselves, for the new SEZ, we are also planning long-term 10-20 year a vision to make it like an industrial township. So it, apart from industrial component of factory buildings, offices, we aim to also provide accommodation,
schooling,
school, especially technical training school. So I think it's chicken and egg. I think we cannot have all those facilities at once. We need to first bring in FDI. Workers will come. When it reaches a certain threshold, it makes sense to do other things like building technical training school, for example. So these are all part of our long-term planning. But I think as a private sector, we cannot do everything alone because we have limited resources and capacity. So what I, as a private sector, hope to see is our government, public and policies maker to help facilitate the major infrastructure, say for example road linkages from the main arteries to where the location of this potential industrial park or SEZ are. Bring in power grid and water, for example. And increasingly important is, I think, not just clean water, but the aspect of water treatment in relations to the industrial waste water, for example. Say, for example, a couple of years ago when one of our tenants evaluated to go upstream in making fabric, they are big. I think at that time they plan to invest, I think, hundreds of $millions for fabric and dyeing facility in Cambodia. They require something like 100 to 200 hectares just for that particular process. But I think they evaluated us and Vietnam, and they decided to go to Vietnam. A big opportunity lost, and one of the reasons is, I think, to do with the certainty of the environmental regulation, because they want to make sure they set up, they can discharge the wastewater, which in our current setup, I think probably the regulation framework is not so clear. We are said we allow them to discharge as long as it meets our discharge requirement. But what they want is that I want to be certain I meet this requirement. I have X amount of water to be discharged every day, every month, every year. I need to make sure that this amount is pre-approved. Otherwise, they are concerned if they come in and then they discharge and then they got limited by this discharge, because that is the limiting factor for their capacity. That's one of the reasons. And two is the probably power cost. Because one, we go upstream, it's no longer so much labor incentive, it's more machinery which consume not just a lot of electricity, but the stability of that electricity is super important. I think so because of these two factors, I think we lost them not just once, twice, because recently they again decide to set up there. But I believe there's still opportunity to bring them back one day, if not them, similar investor.
May I add? More than 10 years ago, I visited a factory in Bovet making textile. There's only one in the country. They say they're the only one. But they reported they had electricity blackouts 10 times a day. It doesn't work that way.
But I think to be fair with our EDC or the government, I think compared to 20, 30 years ago when we first have our first steel processing factory, I think it's like what you said, one day off. 5 times, 10 times.
More than 10 years.
But I think throughout the last 1 decade or so, that has improved tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
Although it still have some stripping or cut off outtake once in a while, but it has improved a lot.
Yes.
And I think electricity also came down, but it's not as fast as the investor want, but it's on a good trend. And I believe with more capacity coming in from hydro, from solar, I think one day we'll become more and more competitive in that aspect, because electricity is really the very fundamental for industrial diversification or industrial to grow.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, but we have to put into perspective that this country is a young country. From an industrial perspective, very young. We have barely a bit over 3 decades of peace. I would say the major period of economic takeoff was less than 20 years. And electricity is improving. Now the good thing with technology is that they have better machinery to control the pollution, for example, right? So I think these are something that I believe it can only improve over time. But I want to come back a bit more on the situation that we're facing with Thailand now on the return of the migrant worker, the retraining, the matching of their existing skill with the need of the industry. I do agree with you that, every year there's 1 million some migrant worker, they boost up 1 or 2% of GDP of Thailand. So now they're back. I agree with you, Paul, that they should be able to boost our GDP growth by or at least 1 or 2%. So these are the opportunities that I can see. But from there, how do we stimulate enough? How do we improve our business environment, our investment environment, so that it's much easier, it's smoother, it's more streamlined, so that we can attract more FDI to absorb, to create the job that enable us to hire all these workers. So this is one of the reform areas that we have to push. We have to improve our business environment, our company registration, our tax registration, whatever it is, licensing, so that this way investor come, they can set up the business very quick, and from then they can absorb the worker. Yeah. But I see already from the capacity aspect. Yesterday I met with a company, Moo Milk. So I asked, okay, brother, how much capacity can you produce? He say a few thousand liters a day. I said, but what is the demand per day? Over 120,000 liters per day. So I said, oh my God, I mean, there's so much, demand that the local can pick up. So I say, what does it take for you to upgrade your processing facility, right? So he said, yeah, we have to import more cow, we have to establish more, farm, more labor. But what I want to say is that this is not a new company, so they operate already. So they know what does it take to make milk. So it's an issue of financing.
Yeah, financing.
It's issue of financing.
Yeah, I think normally that...
Probably allow me to
yes,
add
please,
and respond to this. I think every crisis lies an opportunity. I think if we manage well, I think as a result of this last couple of months of border conflict and disruptions, I think we have seen some area of negative, but there is also some bright spot. I think, like you have rightly said, I think certain things that have been supplied from Thailand in the past, I think there has been a big vacuum to fill. And I think it can be from same thing of import from somewhere else, or there is an alternative where we can step up our local production. And I think if we can make use of this momentum to capture it, we don't seek an easy route out to just find a source from somewhere else
To import
outside
again.
of Cambodia to import again. We probably take the more difficult route
Yeah.
to capture this opportunity to strengthen the local manufacturing or production capability. And I think we have seen that. Ourselves, say, for example, as a result of this vegetable, ban, right?
Yeah.
Cannot import. I think there's a rationale to build, to produce vegetable locally, and to produce, I think they need greenhouse, for
Yes,
example,
yes. Ah, okay.
and greenhouse would enable them to be more productive, to better control their quality. And I think in the past, it has already happening. It has already been happening, but at a slower pace. But at this current situation, it accelerates. So we, as a steel manufacturer, we have extended our offering, not just a steel pipe, but through our engineering design capability, we came up with the whole greenhouse solution.
Oh, wow.
That currently we have been see increase in that demand to supply to our customers who are engaged in vegetable and green produce production, for example. That's just one example,
One
but I
example,
think
yeah.
there are plenty more. I see it on social media, say, for example, detergent or milk, and so on and so forth. So I hope we don't lose that momentum.
Yes.
And as a entrepreneur in industrial sector for the last almost 3 decades, I think it's not as easy as other sectors where we can get quick money. Say, for example, you just sell land. You make a lot of money, quick money. But to be in industrial sector, in manufacturing, I think it's difficult, but you create a very long-term sustainable growth. And it's not the growth for yourself, but the growth for the country and the society as a whole, because you add value continuously throughout the lifetime of your businesses. So I would encourage, I think, our local entrepreneur or businessman to not just look at industry that make quick money, but put into productive asset like manufacturing, for example. And there is no better time to do it now with the government incentive and so on and so forth. So I really make an appeal to our countrymen, especially business community, to start thinking, making use of this momentum together with the attractive incentive from our government, and make it a reality for the country.
Well, for me, it's a bit. The issue is past dependency. After the war, we have nothing, and most of our Cambodian business made money by being a trader, by default, because after the war, they don't have money, they don't have experience, they don't. Well, okay, and the country need everything. So if you're a businessman, if you got one toothbrush, exclusive, you become a millionaire because you distribute the toothbrush and toothpaste nationwide. You got the exclusive on a soft drink, you become a millionaire overnight because the whole country drink the soft drink. So it's past dependency. But after fast forward 20-some 30 years later, I would say the second generation of that old generation, they're returning from abroad, they're well educated, they study engineering, they study accounting. They say, there's an opportunity that we, as you rightly said, that you can shift the mindset a bit, because trade is easy. You order,
Sell.
you
Make
sell,
money.
you make money, and then you drink your cappuccino in brown coffee. Okay, it's not like manufacturing. You have to, in the factory, you have to make sure the quality is there. The precision cutting the steel is a lot of hard work. So to me, it demands a paradigm shift, a mindset shift. That look, let's face it, no country, can grow without being a manufacturer of some sort. Okay,
Correct.
You can only sell but so much, and the shock of this border crisis is quite clear. that yes, you've been making money from trade, but what happened now with Thailand? There's no trade. So if you have nothing to sell and the trade is stopped, what do you have? Nothing. So I agree with you. We have to appeal to our young entrepreneur, to our business people, to start learning how to enter into that manufacturing process. I feel bad because I met a few of them. They say, brother, but I don't know how to deal with manufacturing. So my response to him, I say, brother, you know, with the money you have, you can hire people who know. You don't have to be the one who do it. You hire expertise. You hire consultant to do it.
Yeah, you appeal to entrepreneurs. I would like to make appeals to policymakers
Okay.
and investors, development partners,
Yes.
to turn this crisis into an opportunity. If we say a rounded number of 1 million returnees from Thailand, they're still coming, I understand. It's a lot. If I said it, before they were in Thailand, they ate Thai rice, Thai vegetables and fruits and other products. Now they're here, they eat Cambodian rice, vegetables, fruits,
Beautiful.
and other products. So it will improve the supply from traders and farmers as well. And this can be a lot in terms of percentage of GDP. You know, if before they sent back home less than 50% of their income. Remittances were estimated at $1.3 billion a year, but they spend more than half over there. Here, if they can live and work and spend money here, it's a big addition to our expanding our GDP. So we need really quick investments. So some low-hanging fruits, I would say, try to do it now, because this can be a positive asset. But if we do nothing, it can be a negative asset.
Exactly.
They are free. I understand some anecdotes that they may go to gambling, even playing cards in their villages, and if they run out of money, they cannot return to Thailand, they may go into something negative. Yes. So
Go ahead.
Allow me to add a bit. I think it's important. I think it's a big shock, and we cannot possibly create attract FDI in 1 year or 6 months to absorb this 1 million. It's not practical, but I think low-hanging fruit we need to look at. And continue on to what I said earlier, I think appeal to the entrepreneur or business community to look into manufacturing, but at the same time I would like to also appeal to our government, because as Cambodia, it's a small population, like you said earlier, 16-17 million. So when FDI come in to set up a factory to produce, to provide for local market only, it's small. The scale is not big enough for them to be competitive. In the same way, if local entrepreneurs just set up and invest for local only, I think that market is small. I think having been in manufacturing for so long, scale is important to bring the cost down. So in that regard, I think compared to 20-30 years ago when we just started to open, we don't have industry at all. Say for example, at that time when we build factory, we need to import a lot of steel or pre-engineered steel building. But after 20 years or so of industrial development, we can do it. So what I would like to appeal to our policies maker is that for those industries, say for example, pre-engineered steel building or D-bar, for example, that our group or other company in Cambodia can produce, probably on the exemption, tax exemption, master list for such items, probably we don't force them to say buy local, but maybe give priority to local if they are competitive. FDI should consider, instead of just give everything 100% import, tariff-free, VAT responsibility of the government. Maybe let them purchase some of those production input or input to their construction from local. In that regard, we at least put ourselves at par with others people in Vietnam or in China, for example. Otherwise, at current stage, big FDI with the master list approved, with all these tax exemption, including VAT, they are likely to make purchase decision from overseas. To the disadvantage of local manufacturers like ourselves that provide employment, that pay tax to the government. So not a big ask. I think it's within our policies maker to make some minor adjustment to that probably previous policy or regulation. So I really hope this happen sooner. I know there's some ministerial work that need to coordinate, but I think it's as a matter of urgency. I think we should address that to allow more incentive for local manufacturers like ourselves to step up.
Well, I think I agree with you. You know, it's a short-term shock for sure, short-term shock, but in the medium term there have to be some adjustment, right? Policy adjustment, particularly in the context of the current crisis. It's an opportunity for the government to see, okay, what are the voices of the private sector? What are your concerns? What if we do this? What will you do? If we provide this, what are the sort of incentives that would enable you to do this, right? So again, I look at this as a good opportunity, right? The trick is how do we raise the right question to the right entity, institution, so that they can respond in appropriate manner, right? So it's quite clear. On investment, I want to say to you more about that we are working now on securing additional market access when the time comes. Not, like you say, not tomorrow, not next year, but by 2029, when we graduate from the LDC status, we will not have the benefit of many trade preferences as a least developed country. So we are now looking to secure other market, and I'm working on fact-finding on a CPTPP to learn more what are the requirements if we are to apply, because if we are able to join the CPTPP by 2029, you will have bigger market like UK, Canada, Mexico. These are massive markets, that can complement our existing market, the ASEP, for example. Because ASEP is only East Asia. It's only us, ASEAN, and the other country like China, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand. But here we're looking at the transatlantic side also, so basically cover the world. Peru, Chile, for example. So these are our more medium-term prospects, right? But the trick is how do we survive the current shock now? Yeah.
Yes.
So any comment on market access?
Yeah, we need to sell our products. By that, we also need to build branding for the products. We have some quality products, but the world may not know enough. And in brand building, I think also it needs a concerted effort, not just companies alone. It can be costly, but the public sector should also join. Our embassies overseas should also promote the brands of our products. I think we have opportunity to do more.
I think brand is so important, for a country. We need to do nation branding and product branding, company branding. For example, rice. I mean, how many of our rice go to overseas bear the Cambodian flag? So that's something to think about, because we want best rice for the last 6-7 times for the last 10 years, okay? But when you export as a commodity. So, I mean, you lose the value, right? Unlike pepper. Pepper is different because it has a GI connotation.
But that's just
which is small
proportion too.
Yeah.
I think I would like to add, I think Cambodia, actually, we have a lot of good things. But we don't market ourselves well. We don't brand ourselves well. And as a businessman, I also find branding is really important. I think, say for example, ISI as a company, as a brand, over the last 28 years or so, I think I realized the power of brand. I think it gives trust. And allow you to create more value to your products. So I think it's important that everyone in the country, private, public, academia, businessmen, I think we have the obligation to help to brand Cambodia. To brand it as a country that FDI can trust, to brand it as a destination for tourists to come, as a safe place. So I think we need a lot of concerted effort. And I think for us, I think ISI as a brand now is recognized not just, I think, in our local market by local and FDIs. We have our product have been used in, or services has been used in big projects. Say, for example, the new techno airport for our D-bar and our roof structure. We been providing a lot of supplies to that, and thanks to the owner, the chairman of OCIC Group for allowing us that opportunity to not just, I think, supply only, but to allow us to expand our engineering and construction capability for that 1 kilometer roof that we have done. And recently, I think through our team effort, we have also been able to secure some export orders of our galvanized pipe, our galvanized coil, which is the first plant in Cambodia, set up 3 years ago. So although the volume at this stage is small, but we have been able to export to the USA for a couple of orders now to our ASEAN countries, several of them. So I think with that, I think when we invest in Cambodia, we don't, with all this trade framework that we have, ASEP or ASEAN, or the one you're talking about, CPTPP, which we are exploring. I think with all this multilateral trade framework, I think we, as a small nation, does not necessarily mean we are small in market. I think we can access to regional and global market. And with that regard, I really thank you for your great effort to bring Cambodia to WTO, ASEP, and hopefully TPP in the near future.
Yes. I didn't do much on ASEP. But back to your point about going out when you have a good brand, right? It's important because, let's face it, in Cambodia now, whenever you see Starbucks, you see brown, right? So that's quite an interesting remark, because the two, they're competing heads on. And Starbucks is no small player, is a global player. And when you are neck to neck with them, it's a sign that, number one, your quality is there. Your standard is there. And now you are able, ISI are able to enter the market of sophisticated construction, that sort of thing. So back to the Cambodian entrepreneur, back to the Cambodian Oknha who are doing business. Now they have money. So money is not anymore the issue. Expertise, you can hire. Technology, you can buy. Brand, you can hire consultant brand. But the main thing is that with all of that, we have the natural resource to exploit. Why can they not look at that? Because to me, money is not the issue now. You know what I mean? How much it costs to hire a consultant to set up a cashew factory that are BRC compliant? It's 200,000, right? 200,000 is less than a car, less than a BMW latest model, okay? I'm just saying, okay? But if you invest in that, yes, it's a lot of money, 200,000, but it opened the market of the EU, the Japan, of UK, the world. You can make it back. But are you willing to put your foot down and slave on that? So that is basically the challenge I want our Cambodian business to start thinking of that. 30 years ago, brother, I don't have money. 30 years ago, well, I don't have expertise. Well, I don't know much. I don't even speak English. No more the excuse now. No more the excuse. But it's time that we have to do it. Yeah. First, to build the local capacity to, here in this case, to service the growing demand from the border Thailand crisis. But over time, in a couple of years from now, you know, when you enter into good JV, I believe in JV with foreign multinational. I believe in that.
Yes.
Because after several years, you learn enough, you can branch out. You can start your own business. I mean, you have a lot of experience with JV.
I think to be in business, and especially to be in business in the manufacturing, I think it requires a different mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset of patient, being patient.
Long term.
Long term. It
Focus,
cannot be I set up today and want to make money tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
It
yeah.
has to be long term, and
Yeah.
you have to love that
The work.
hard work,
Yeah.
because it's no easy money. But I think you will feel rewarded if you put enough efforts and passion into it. And I think JV, I think I have probably in the last 15 years or so after my leadership in the company, I think I've gone into several JV. Some work, some don't. Also,
It's a learning curve.
It's part of learning, but I think JV is like how should I say? It's like a marriage.
Yeah.
So don't take it too lightly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think 10 plus years ago, until recently, probably I feel excited about JV. So don't do proper DD.
Yeah.
So on average, 50-50.
50-50.
So in the future, if I have a chance to do it again, probably I will take a more cautious approach and be more selective, be more set out the right expectation to partners, because it starts from expectation.
Yeah.
So we can benefit from partnership if we have same value, if we have same mindset, if we have same investment horizon. So I won't give up JV, but I will become more probably do it better.
Yeah,
in
what
the past.
to me it's quite simple. You know, we're so excited when we have a foreigner coming and we drive a good car to pick up in the airport. We treat them to the best restaurant in town, but we have no clue who they are. We rarely do due diligence on them.
Yes.
They come in with a fancy brochure. Wow, I'm a big company, but they do due diligence on you. They know in and out.
Already.
So I agree that we have JV is good provided you do proper due diligence.
Yes.
You know, and I don't want to say anything bad about our society, but we have an expression say "Ku hai ban kit." So we draw first, and then we think about it. Then it doesn't work. I mean, you have to learn from the advanced economy. They think first, then they draw. You know, they invest in hiring a good consulting firm, good law firm, a good KPMG to do a good due diligence. The right partner, the right business model, the right value system, they enter into business. Then after the due diligence, they find, not the right match. Okay, so they lose 100,000, they lose 50,000, but they save several million by not entering to the business. So I agree.
So I would say I probably have graduated from primary school of JV. Probably
That's it.
Going into secondary school, I would probably
Not
can
yet
do it
high school,
better,
right?
But I will not give up.
Yeah.
Not yet high school.
Not
I
yet
would
high
favor
school. Right.
Secondary school.
Yeah. So I think it's quite clear that the opportunity is there, clear. It's how do we do things that the right model. And I think there's enough best practice in the world. In the international business world, there's enough best practice. But I still believe that nothing beat hiring the right expertise, particularly now that you have the money. If you don't have the money, it's something else. But now you have enough cash already. Invest in the right expertise, and you'll be surprised that it can transform your company, and you have to start thinking international. I'm an internationalist, so I can help but to think like that. But I always tell people that look, if your product can enter the UK market, it can enter Japan market. If it enter Japan market, it can enter the Korean market, the Australian market, because the standard is very high.
Yeah.
So we have to work up to the standard, and then from there we can graduate. Hopefully you can graduate from the high school of JV soon.
JV, yes. We're definitely one of my target too.
But Paul, I think you probably graduated long time ago from the think tank, institute.
I have observed in the previous stage of development, people could make money quickly by land speculation, quick returns here and there. But moving forward, after the real estate boom, I think that now it's going to take a while, several years maybe. So it's the next stage of making money from doing in the real sector, manufacturing and businesses. So the mindset you mentioned has to be changed to not, if you buy land and sell the next week, you don't need a business plan.
Yeah.
But to build a factory for that, you have to focus on 20 years, 30 years. People now, I think they should be old enough to think about legacy.
Yeah.
They should leave behind some legacy for their children or grandchildren, not just something quickly done. Then they need to change the mind to focus more on due diligence, but also business plan.
Yeah.
And to do something, they have to spend money on hiring a firm to conduct market research and build a business plan. But people don't have that mindset. They never did that before. You mentioned that, it's a lot of money, I don't want to do it. I know, we can just do it. It doesn't work like that, right? So
well, I think at the end of the day, Cambodia is a transition country, transition economy, from war to peace, to sustain peace. Now, our cherished peace is being challenged by an aggressive neighbor. Yes. But we still, for us, peace is still everything. Yeah. We will continue to nurture that peace. Of course, the problem with Thailand is not our cause, but they're the one there. But for us, ultimately, the future of our next generation depend on us sustaining peace. We're a small country, but a small country can sustain peace by being strong. Look at Singapore. Singapore have problem with Malaysia, Indonesia occasionally, but they're strong.
Yes.
So how do we use that lesson from neighboring country, in this case Singapore, to build a strong society also? Because a strong society means a society that is not measured by the size of the country, is by the intellect of the country, is by the unity of the country, which we see now. It's not only a national unity, but it's an international unity. Our youth, our older, whatever. We are unified now. Cambodia is one now. For a long time, I feel this, the missing link. Now we feel that unity. So this is probably the basis of our future. Yeah. We have to nurture this peace. We have to show the world that we care, we believe in peace. But foremost, as a small country, we believe in international law.
Yes.
We believe in the international institution. We believe in the UN. We believe in a multilateral world.
Yeah. I think building on this armed conflict with Thailand, Cambodia should seize the opportunity to present as a small but beautiful, clean country, honest country, an honest player in the world. So our products will be honest as well. When we say it's organic, it's organic.
Yes.
And that's, I think, the promotion
Yeah.
of Cambodia. And we have just cleaned up the scams,
Yeah.
casinos,
Yeah.
with the online scams as well. So it's a way to go.
Yeah.
You.
Well, I think we're coming to the end of the program. It's I could go on for the next 2 hours with you guys, but the message is quite clear that the manufacturing capability in Cambodia, we do have some good example, right? And Leng is a good model on how, you know, a young rising entrepreneur are able to build the basis of an industrial society. And if Leng can do it, so are many other young Cambodians. They can follow. And this is the border crisis is an opportunity for us to harness that, because the opportunity is here, provided we capture it. You know, if the migrant worker have been able to boost Thailand GDP of 1 or 2% per year, now they should boost our local economy. So I look at from the crisis opportunity side. But I want to say thank you to both of you for sharing your very, I would say, you know, your thought, particularly on government reform, particularly on what you want to see the government to respond to the need of the local entrepreneur. Because at the end of the day, it's all about partnership, government, private sector partnership.
Yes.
The government cannot know everything, but the private sector also need the help from the government. So how do we get into this dialogue there? And I hope for government officials who are watching this show, I hope you can hear the argument that our private sector is making, and hopefully you can contribute to making good policy making for the country. So on that note, I want to wrap up this program and to say thank you, Leng. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Good job. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.